So here we are, 152 years later, that God is still blessing the ministry of Greater Shiloh Baptist Church in Headland, Alabama. What started off as a small commitment of one family and a group of faithful members has grown to a membership of over 500 here in our city. God continues to bless our ministry from generation to generation, from our infant and our children's church ministry all the way up to our senior saint ministry. There is something for everybody to do and to get involved in with our ministry. And so the blessing I have as the pastor of this wonderful congregation is to be able to see all of the generations fit in where God has uniquely called all of us to fit. And so it's our pleasure to take you on this journey. After 152 years, God is still faithful, and I'm certainly appreciative of being the shepherd, the servant that God has called for such a time as this. God has always, throughout biblical history, He's always raised up individuals to lead a significant movement for the cause of Christ. Our church was led by our first pastor, the Reverend George Christmas, and the Christmas family. And so we're still blessed today to have members of the Christmas family represented in our congregation. So when you think about since 1867 and that family still having roots here in our community, our church is still a cornerstone. And so everything that's vital, everything that's significant as we know it in the African American community, it started within the church. And so we're standing on the shoulders of those who have come before us that have paved the way, and we appreciate that blessing and sacrifice that those individuals made some long ago.
My name is Larry Glover. I'm the son of Eola Christmas Glover, who was a great granddaughter of our founder, George Christmas. It was amazing to me that this church has been here for 152 years. If my math serves me right, that would have put it back around slavery time, not soon after. So it's been a beginning of strong leadership at Greater Shiloh Baptist Church. My experience here at Shiloh has been very amazing. I started at a very young age, probably 6. I was baptized in a baptized pool that was in the cemetery, about 4x4 pool by Reverend H.E. Fields. He was basically the first pastor that I knew. Following his pastorship, I was under Reverend C.S. Pope. He came around 1965 or 1966, around when I was just about leaving high school. And he had strong leadership in Greater Shiloh. I admired him very much. We had like a mutual admiration society, and he was the first pastor that I really saw in the community coming visit my house every time I would come home from school or come home from California, and we had some type of gathering. It always included Reverend Pope. Following that, I was gone from this community about 40 years, and I just came back in 2007 for living here permanently, and I rejoined the church in 2007. In 2010, I became a deacon under Pastor McKay, and it has been amazing time I have spent with under him. he has shown great leadership, and under him, we have this new facilities, and I can see his vision that he really would like to help the community advance, and that's why I am here today, because Pastor McKay, I haven't really seen a strong leader, a pastor that really cares about the people.
I also joined the church in 2007. Prior to that, before we moved to Headland, I always attended this church when we were visiting from California or Georgia. And I always really loved the people. My husband always loved the people of Headland. And when I moved here, I realized why. They're great people. And so when I started, when I was baptized, I was actually baptized under Pastor Pope. And I got to see firsthand how much he was admired, how much he was looked up to, and how much he was loved. And after him, for a time, Reverend Corbett led us. And I really liked him. He was always enthusiastic and friendly. And now we have Pastor McKay. And I know everyone is aware how much he loves his people and how much he has goals for us. And he wants us just to do so much better. And he's teaching us great things. And I think the best is yet to come. And I'm a member of the Senior Saints, and I really enjoy it. I especially like going to the convalescent homes and playing bingo with the residents. And Sunday school, I love Sunday school. I look forward to Sunday school. We have a teacher that makes it interesting, and she opens the floor for discussion. And when I leave Sunday school, I really feel uplifted. The youth group, every time I hear them sing in the choir, it just touches my heart. And when we go visiting, and the pastor preaches and the choir sings, I'm just so proud to be a member of Shiloh.
2019 marks 10 years that God has blessed me and my family to serve this wonderful congregation. But my predecessor, my mentor, my pastor of 42 years, the Reverend Dr. C.S. Pope, instilled in me and our entire congregation what love looks like. Love has always been an action word. And so through his ministry and through his preaching and teaching, our ministry grew in significant ways. And about 18 months ago, our church broke ground on a new sanctuary worship center to where we can highlight what God has done in the life of this church and our community.
Yeah, we have something to tell them. Yeah. Tell it on the mountain. Tell it in the valley. Yeah. Tell it in your home. Yeah. Tell your children. Yeah. Your children, children. Yeah. Amen. Yeah, you need to tell it. Yeah. Jesus Christ is born and he is alive. Amen. Tell it what the Lord has done. Yes. Yeah. Tell it. You know, it's good to be able to articulate. Isn't it one of them? Yeah. That you can talk. Yeah. And they said that we're living in a talking age. Yeah. Even little babies talk. I look like they enjoy talking. My little baby grand, so he can hold your conversation. Let us know. Yeah, we were fishing the other night. Dad and I, something there big sense. He said, we're not catching this. We got some fish in the deep.
One of the blessings that I have is to pastor some of our senior members. I felt the need to create an outlet so that every generation in our church felt connected. And so we created our Senior Saints ministry. This is an opportunity for our more seasoned members to congregate together, to fellowship together, but to also experience a level of spiritual growth even at the age that they were in. And so I'm glad and I'm excited today. That's one of our most vibrant ministries in our church. And so take a listen to what God is doing in the life of some of our senior members.
Yeah, I had to come to church whether I wanted to come to the church or not. So you might as well, you could sit there and be mad all day long if you want to. It didn't make her no difference as long as you was inside this church. Okay? I stayed there. I was baptized on the Reverend G.W. Martin. The baptizing the pool was right there behind the church house, right over there where you used to stay. I was baptized in that pool right in the backyard that they got it covered up with sand now. And then when the church got burnt down, over there, we marched in this new church over there on the Reverend C.S. Poe. We came over there. I went through all of those preachers except the Christmas man and the other older. I've been through 3 churches, ended up in this great big building here. But I had a part in just about everything. I have always enjoyed coming to church. Looked like I tried to get in everything they had at the church. I did some of everything at the church but preach. I didn't do none of that, but I sure wanted to some Sundays. But I enjoy coming to church. Church is just, I said when I got grown, my mama made me come. I said, if I ever get grown, I ain't never going to church no more. I don't want to go to church. I said, Mama made me go. I didn't have no choice. And I said, I don't want to. And I said, well, I got that, and looked like I wanted to get in everything they had at the church. I just stayed in something all of the time. Whatever they get over there, I had the merchants, I was in the missionaries, I was in there, I was the reporter. I was some of everything they had at the church except preach, And so when we marched across the road, we got in the new church over there on the Reverend C.S. Pope, which we growed out of that one, but that one got burnt down. And we come across the road, and under the Reverend C.S. Pope, it was a lot of good experience. A lot of good experiences there. I enjoyed, and I still tried to get in everything they had over there, everything that went on at church. I thought it was just a good experience was there. And when I would be at home, I'd just be wishing I could get there. When I'd be sick in the hospital, and get to the church's anniversary. One Sunday I went somewhere and I come back and I told them, Pope, I said, what they did there? He said, well, I'm going to put you over there. And I was over the church's anniversary for 24 years. Every year I tried to run the church's anniversary from the hospital once. Down in the hospital, I called up here every time for the church's. I tried to run it from the hospital. I thought nobody else couldn't do it, like I did. That's my church. That was named. That's when we went to Greater Shiloh. And I'm not sure, are we still Greater Shiloh? Or we done got 2 graders in there? What are we now? But whatever it is, I came on over here. Oh, I was sick that Sunday, but I got out here because I want to be out here in that number when we come over here in this big old pretty church we in now under the leadership of Reverend David McKay. which is doing a very, very good job. He is leading us in the right path. I enjoy service. I've always enjoyed it. So I really am proud. My mama made me come where I didn't want to come. Then I learned that I didn't want to be without coming to church. Church is just good for everybody. It's got to be within you. And I do love church. I really love it.
It is our responsibility as leaders, as pastors, as members of the body of Christ to not only plan for the present, but we've got to also plan for the future. And so we have a vibrant young adult ministry to where those between the ages of 18 and 55, the majority of our church membership is within that age. It gives them an opportunity to be able to express and be involved in activities that encourages their spiritual growth. And so one of the key ministries of our church is our young adult ministry. And so that's where an individual is in a stage in life where they're trying to figure out what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a wife, what it means to be a mother and a father. And so as life transitions, it's key and important that our church provides the kind of relevant teaching and instruction to be able to develop this demographic in our church and community. And so I'm excited to highlight one of our young adults as she shares what her experience has been like in one of the greatest churches in the whole world.
So my name is Leah McKay, and I'm married to Gregory Carl McKay, and I am clearly a wife and a member here at Greater Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church. My experience, well, first I joined after I got married. I joined in 2017. And that was a critical time for me. I wasn't raised in a church. The first part of my life was actually in a church. My father was a pastor, but he separated us and he fostered a relationship with Christ with us. And so my relationship with church sort of started backwards a little bit. It was more so of learning the relationship with Christ, and then later became fellowshipping with other believers. And so that's where my husband's church family came in with Greater Shiloh. And ever since then, the pastor that I was under is Delvitt McKay. And so he sort of definitely pushed me out of my shell a little bit with saying, okay, it's okay to be nervous about attending a church for the first time, but we love you, we're here for you, and we're definitely supporting you. And my husband helped with that as well. Ever since I joined in 2017, it's been up and up. So I've enjoyed myself. I've been learning, which that's an important part to me, is to always learn and grow in my faith. And so being a member here has definitely pushed me out and has pushed me deeper into my relationship with Christ and God, and definitely made me love to learn more about him. I'm constantly studying, and being a member here at this church has definitely helped me do that and communicate more. I tend to either notice or observe more, but it's definitely helped me become more vocal about things and share my opinion. And I just love it. I love the people. I love the fact that everyone's personal, and that here is definitely good grounds to learn and foster a greater sense of belief, and not just going through the motions and religious and all of that stuff, but here you actually get to learn and love, and your relationship with Christ actually grows, and it goes deeper if you apply yourself. So yes. I get to be around a group that is actually really critical. I don't think our young adult ministry understands how critical we are to the growth of this ministry, of the Church of Greater Shiloh. And so the opportunity to come together and to build and to take from the Senior Saints ministry, which I'm constantly gleaning from them, ideas and everything that they have to offer, and really rooted in the fact that, okay, once the Senior Saints eventually transition on to their greater life, then that's when the young adults come in and they need to sort of take more sense of ownership with the church that we're in. And so definitely being with them helped me foster more of a sense of responsibility, accountability, not only to my growth as a Christian, but also to my role here at Greater Shiloh. All right, thank you.
God holds us responsible as parents and as adults to prepare for the next generation. And so our church has such an affinity and love for the children and youth of our community. Long ago, we established the first Head Start program in our community and in the Wiregrass. And so our church has always had a focus not only on Christian education, but education in general. And so we have a thriving children's and youth ministry. We have a thriving children's church where we've got longtime leaders who value and appreciate the gift that God places within children. And so our church has all of these elements within it so that every family, every child can find their place. So much so that we even developed an after-school tutoring program because we knew not only to develop the heart of a person, but to also help to motivate and shape the mind of a person. And so if we often say that our children are our future, then we've got to invest in them. We have to allocate resources for them. And so our church has long been a staple in the Headland community, investing in children, helping to build families, helping to provide a way so that families and their children can be somewhat self-sufficient and they can reach their goal. And so it's my privilege today as we celebrate 152 years to highlight our children and youth ministry. So take a listen at what God is doing.
Something about me is that I joined this church in 2017, but ever since I've been going here with my grandma and my granddaddy. And I live with my grandma and granddaddy. And I like this church because I get to sing in the choir and we get to do fun stuff during the summer. And I like Wednesday night Bible study or either Miss Willie's class. Today we learned that we should keep our faith and not lose it or never give up. Something I like about the choir is we get to cooperate with each other and we get to sing and praise God. Something I like about the youth department is we get to do fun activities and learn about God. And Mr. Bernard, we do praise and worship. We do a game and we learn about the Bible. Something I enjoy about being a member is that I get to sing in the choir and do other stuff that helps out the church or involves in something with the church.
We all are gathered here today to celebrate 152 years of the goodness of God in the life of Greater Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church. And it's only fitting that I invite one of my good friends, one of my pastor mentors, who I've known ever since I was 16 years old, the Reverend Dr. John Curry, who's the pastor of the Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church in Tuskegee, Alabama. He is a friend of our church. He has been in partnership with our church. He's preached at our church. And so he was also my college pastor while I was attending Tuskegee University. And so it's our pleasure to welcome all of our guests that are here today, especially my friend, my brother, my pastoral mentor, the Reverend Dr. John Curry and the Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church. We're excited that you're here today, and we thank God for 152 years of how He's blessed our ministry here in Headland and we look forward to our time of worship together. This is your occasion.